Hey guys, welcome back to the BuzWeaver channel, where we discuss activity that goes on here with the channel. That includes things like current events, headlines that are in the news, pop culture, social media technology, and items of interest that come up during the week that allow us to have a little bit of a dialogue. I want to thank all of you guys across New Tech, as well as all of you guys here on YouTube, for your guys' continued support.
We start things off from NPR. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to let you know and be aware of the wording, the phrasing, the exaggeration, and the sensationalizing as we discuss the town hall that was conducted by CNN having and inviting Donald Trump. Trump continues lies about election and lashes out after New York verdict in town hall. In the first media appearance since being found liable for activity and defamation to the tune of $5 million. That was a civil case, by the way, so everyone understands, because everyone wants to keep saying, oh, he's guilty of this or that and the other, as though he were going to be arrested. No, it is a civil case. Former President Donald Trump defensively lashed out once again, as he typically does when he disagrees with something or his back is against the wall politically. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see here, as I prepared you for, the exaggeration, the sensationalizing, and just the sucker punching of the media to describe Trump in this manner. You'd never see it. Never see them describe Joe Biden in any of these particular ways whatsoever. And of course, it just goes on to quote some of the things that Donald Trump said here. So I'm not going to go into all of their particular sniping and ridiculing and just vapid nonsense. He did so on multiple issues in multiple ways, including, and so they're just continuing on what he said, continuing to claim the 2020 presidential election was this word here, which I can't say on YouTube, in combination with President Trump, still probably to this day, that former Vice President Mike Pence had an authority to send the election back to the states on January. And then, of course, they're just going through and they're nitpicking this, that, and the other. Now, everything that Trump said was within levels of context. But, of course, they don't do this to Joe Biden. Imagine if they went after Joe Biden, particularly with his statement about the pandemic and that individuals needed to get the jab, or the disastrous exit of Afghanistan, not to mention the shortages that we're experiencing, the inflation, allowing for the Donald Trump tax break to expire. All these things they could nitpick about Joe Biden, all the way down to the fact of the Hunter Biden laptop and how it was censored during the campaign. But they're not going to do it, ladies and gentlemen, because the point of the exercise at this time is to ensure that Trump is still painted in a negative light. They're trying to get him to stop his campaign. They want him to quit, essentially. But they just want everyone to know, or they're trying to turn Trump into a villain and, of course, a criminal. Many in the audience appeared to be friendly to Trump and laughed at his retorts. They also cheered and applauded him quite a lot. The audience, CNN said beforehand, was made up of Republicans and Republican-leaning, unaffiliated New Hampshire voters, which there's always going to be Republicans throughout the entire United States, or conservatives and moderates and so forth throughout the U.S., although the North is always kind of considered to be more blue than anywhere else. And while the GOP has continued to have positive feelings towards the former president, Trump has proved toxic with independents and persuadable voters. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the reason I wanted to read that and point it out to you is this is the target audience that the left is looking towards. The independents and the persuadable voters. In other words, they're concerned about influence. They're concerned about the fact that Trump has this level of influence, for example, Elon Musk and others, to dissuade them from the ideas and concepts and philosophies, ideologies, and worldviews that the left has. And this is what they try to do within the media, is they use this, well, they're using this, for example, this town hall, in the hopes that it will get the attention of independents and persuadable voters to see Trump as a criminal or as a villain. And that's the exercise there. During this town hall, for example, in addition to the lies, they would never say that about Joe Biden. Can you imagine the media saying that about Joe Biden? Oh my goodness. The next day, the media people, the journalists, whoever, the editors, the producers, the CEOs, they would get a lashing from the administration, or from the Joe Biden administration to be specific. was unable to criticize Russia for its leader, Vladimir Putin, or say he wants Ukraine to win the war. See, they want him to get, well, the whole purpose is to get him into positions where they can go into these whole fact-checking exercises, which is what I'm going to show you here in just a minute. So basically, Trump was saying he just wanted to end the war and end the killing, but he didn't go into specifics about whether he would choose Ukraine or whether he supports Vladimir Putin or anything. He just said he wanted to end the war, which is a completely appropriate way to address that, particularly when he knows they're trying to ambush and corner him. Wouldn't be specific about abortion. No, he wouldn't be specific about a lot of things, because that's the whole exercise, is to get him to say something specific so that they can tear that down and tear it apart. So the debt ceiling should not be used as a leverage to negotiate spending cuts while he was president, but said Wednesday night that's different now because he's not president. That's absolutely true. You got to remember also, when the Democrats controlled the House, the Senate, and the presidency for 2 years, they didn't try to pass the legislations and policies and measures and stuff that they're trying to do now, because now they have the GOP, which is the head of the House right now, and so they have them to blame for anything that they want to try to do. It's just an absurd game they play. But the wording here from NPR, you would never see NPR even remotely use the word lie or the type of sensationalizing and exaggeration they used here about Joe Biden. It would not happen, ladies and gentlemen. As I said earlier, CNN fact-checking Trump's CNN hall in New Hampshire, or Townhall in New Hampshire. And, of course, here they go through the whole, the typical things, the voter ID, intelligence agency impact on the election, security on January 6th, gas prices, phone call to Georgia State here, Brian Kemp, January 6th violence, police on January 6th, E. Jean Carroll, and just a host of different things that they try to nitpick him on the whole time, which I found interesting, but not unusual. But I think that what I saw of the town hall, I think that Donald Trump did quite well. I think rational, cogent, reasonable people can clearly see the agenda and narratives that most media has, and that how he responded was indicative of someone who is being pushed and backed into a corner, you know, but not necessarily acting as though he were a bull in a china cabinet trying to respond, lashing out. He was simply outlining truths about what he was able to do, what he was able to accomplish. Now, I want to point out too, and I've shown this to you guys before, when you go to Trump's accomplishments here at whitehouse.org, it is massive. I mean, it is gigantic. If you sat here and tried to read all this, it would probably take you about half an hour. Now, I'm just going to scroll through this just for a few minutes, and we're not even halfway through all the accomplishments. They are massive. They are gigantic. It is huge, and I'm still not even at halfway. So I'm just going to show you. I'm just going to quick scroll through the rest of it all the way. It is absolutely massive what Donald Trump was able to accomplish. Now, I just want to contrast that with Joe Biden and or Kamala Harris, as they mention here in the whitehouse.org, which is also the official outline, as we just saw from Donald Trump. The Biden-Harris record. Here you go. You ready, ladies and gentlemen? It's 18 headings. 18 headings. That's it. Lower cost of families' everyday expenses. Has your cost lowered? Mine hasn't. Mine have been the same, if not gone higher. They have gone higher. More people are working at this point in American history. No, actually, the job reports just came out and it's down. Making more in America? Maybe some people are. The establishment is. That was the whole reason they got you elected, Joe Biden. You know, and it's just, if you go through, there's 18 things. 18. And then down here, they expound on the same 18 things. 18 things is all they come up with. And some of these things didn't even transpire. 3.5% unemployment rate. The lowest in 50 years. Oh, man. 75,000 new manufacturing jobs. I mean, these are super, super nitpicky stuff. 15 minimum wage for federal workers and contractors. Yes, and that's why McDonald's has a lot of those self-serving, self-serve type little vending machines or point of sales machines, as well as the fact that companies are, you know, going out of business and so forth because they can't afford to pay people that amount, not to mention the fact that taxes are higher. So 18 things here that the media could go after and go after on fact-checking Joe Biden if he's even done them. And some of them he hasn't even done. And so here we have a contrast between the massive amounts of things that President Trump was able to accomplish versus Joe Biden. But yet in this outline with NPR and in this fact-check by CNN, they want to completely try to dismantle Trump, turn him into a villain, and of course try to get him to quit and not pursue not pursue the presidency in 2024. Absolutely amazing, ladies and gentlemen. And that's what I have for you guys this Friday.
All right, guys, so that's going to wrap it up for this Friday vlog. Thank you for the likes, the shares, and the comments. All this engagement helps the channel, whether you're on YouTube and or on New Tech. And of course, below this video, you can find the various links to my Amazon influencer page, which you guys can use as your landing page. So if you have Prime or order frequently from Amazon, consider placing those orders there, as it does help out the channel. And of course, guys, thank you for your guys' continued support. And for those of you watching here on YouTube, that will be the channel icon appearing right there on the screen. You guys can click on that to subscribe, as well as to select notifications. That way you know when there's content here on the channel, as well as the Friday vlog. And I'll see all you guys right there behind the Galaxy phone camera next week.